don't think you really get it, bro. It's a difference. Like you could go to the neighborhoods that's the mad shit that haven't, but you're visiting. The people that live there, that becomes their lifestyle. And you could give a motherfucker $1 million and think that he's gonna be like, I'm gonna leave it all alone. But what is he leaving alone? The people that he was killing for?
You know,
no, he's not gonna leave those people.
No, but here's the thing. I feel like I get where you're coming from, but I feel like the area where you're maybe not getting where I'm coming from. So, for example, if you see in that documentary at the start, I even say, I'm like, yo, look, I got to have some sympathy for Von, because even though I'm about to say this crazy statement, I'm basically like at the start of it, I say his dad was killed by sniper. Someone shot him at a sniper on top of one of the towers in Chicago. Killed his dad when he was 11. Right. So we're talking about a kid that's going through that. That's him growing up. That's the idea of what his role model is. So I've got sympathy for that. But I feel like you're trying to defend Von as if Von's like every dude in the street. Von is different. Von's the one anomaly. He's the first and only motherfucker that was on some shit where he wanted everyone to know, and he's right in these little clues.
What made you want to do a documentary on him though?
The bodies, he said he heard them.
Well, no, but more specifically, I was always a fan of Von's music, right? And I made a couple of videos about Von when he was alive, and he was not feeling that, right? But that was like a separate thing. I didn't know the extent of it. But
yeah, because you was doing the work that lazy police officers didn't want to do.
I guess so.
I'd be pissed off. Like, nigga, why you working so hard? These niggas ain't doing it.
And
what
there were certain bodies that he documented that King Von and his team were like particularly interested in making sure were not documented on the internet. And I mean, the only logical reason why is because he did those ones, specifically.
Possibly.
Certain ones.
Allegedly.
But these are the same ones that the cops have said that he would have basically been charged with if he was still alive.
Wow.
Yeah. But the reason I did it specifically, I was a huge fan of Von's music, right? And for me, it's the same reason I did the Youngboy video, where it's like, I just wanted to, even if I wasn't doing this as a job, I'd still be a King Von fan. And I would still want to know. If I heard him say he's got 7 bodies, I'd still want to know, yo, is that cap?
Now I'm confused. Because now you're saying you would be a fan of a serial killer.
I got a Von tattoo. I'm a fan.
You got a Von tattoo?
I got a Von tattoo.
Oh man,
see my Von tattoo right there.
He's a stalker, bro. He say he read all the tweets.
I got a Von tattoo.
Oh, you giving you vibes.
I want to get one.
Got a King Von.
Von changed my life, man. For real.
But originally,
but I'm a huge Von fan. Even before I even knew the extent of it, Von songs get me lit. If I'm going to the gym, I'm listening to Von. I'm going hard.
Right.
This is the thing as well. People feel like they act like I hate Von or I got some vendetta against Von. Von was fire. Von, I don't think you could think of anybody else that actually went through that street shit, was actually deep, knees deep into that war, and then could actually make good songs. Like his storytelling, like I don't think there's many rappers that could be as good of, could paint as much of a picture of a story as he could.
According to you, he wasn't that good of a storyteller.
Well, he was really doing that shit, but he could paint a picture of it.
And he told the story through his social media and shit as well. Like Von is so unique because he actually made amazing music and like really captivated a huge amount of people and was like the most extreme version of like this idea of like a killer that we kind of got introduced to in the Chirac era. You know, this like totally different type of street dude that was like a polar opposite in a lot of ways from the types of dudes that we kind of came up idolizing, like a Jay-Z or whoever that might have been talking about their criminality, but it wasn't anything like the way that we kind of got introduced to like Chief Keef and Dirk and all these dudes. Right. And then King Von is just like the most extreme version of that, plus the music being really good.
Well, I think if there was social media back then, it was still a different kind of rule.
Absolutely.
Like, don't talk about certain shit.
It was always ambiguous. Like, even remember, like, you know, there's that 50 lyric where he's like, he got hit like I got hit, but he ain't fucking breathing. It's like, it's ambiguous. 50 ain't saying, I got back on them guys that shot me and he dead. It's like, it was like, oh, I could read into it. Oh, what's he saying? Is he hinting? Whereas Von was straight up like, I've got 7 bodies. Like, if you only got 2 bodies, you ain't a real killer like me. Like, that's a crazy statement.
Right.
I always hear people quote that too. So it doesn't count unless you got a couple of them. If you were
this much of a King Von fan, why were you blowing his shit up?
This is the funny thing. No, but I'll tell you what, here's the thing I feel like people forget. When Von was out and he was having the run of a lifetime, all anyone was, like Von, I would say no rapper has been as lit as Von was since. Like that time when Von was alive and everyone was like, yo, you know that shit he's rapping, he's really, like Von is really no cap in his raps. Like that's why Von was calling out Youngboy, saying, Youngboy, you got cap in your raps. Von's basically saying, yo, I'm really killing, and Youngboy, you're capping. So the whole thing, the whole mystique around Von was like, yo, he's really doing it. He actually really did that shit. And so it's like, how can you expect me? I'm just a super fan at the end of the day. Right. How can you not expect a super fan to be like, yo, they're saying Von don't cap in his raps. Von's saying Youngboy caps in his raps. Von's saying he got 7 bodies. And like, people act like it's like I shouldn't be allowed to look into that. I just hopped on Google and looked that shit up.
No, I get it, but at the same time, it's like police work.
I mean,
It's
the
definitely
police,
police work.
the police. This is the funny thing.
Like I imagine the feds have like
you think that you think,
office buildings full of trap law Rosses.
Oh, okay,
just
yeah. I thought you were
going
saying,
to work.
I thought you were saying they got a building. They're just watching me.
Did
Right.
you actually meet him?
Von.
Yeah.
No, I didn't get to meet him.
No.
I ain't get it.
Yeah,
I
but if you
interviewed him.
met him, what do you think is?
I interviewed
What
him
do you think
before I
it-
knew about all this shit.
Okay.
What do you think that interaction would be like?
Bad.
Bad.
He would not be fucking with me.
Would you show him the tattoo?
I don't think it would help. But
I don't think he would have given a
approved of that?
fuck.
You
He would
think
have been
would've
fucking
approved
with
of
you.
that?
what do you mean?
Doing the videos and all that. You think he would have approved that?
He wasn't really cool with it during his life, right?
Nah, but you know what? He wasn't, but then he was, because like when I made that video, I did that video after, I don't know if you know, there's a channel called Trap Geek, and he did a really famous video on Von back in the day called The Soft Spoken Assassin, basically it's the same as my serial killer thing, but like he didn't really work it out. He was just like, yo, I think Von really doing
But
shit.
you haven't been around Tay Savage yet?
Not in person, only on the phone.
I mean, he would fuck with you. He
I-
don't give a
But I
fuck.
feel like Tay kind of gets the media thing more. But I
Exactly,
think,
yeah.
but Von was pissed off about that Trap Geek thing for the first week, and then a week later, he's on Instagram calling himself the soft-spoken assassin. So he was like, okay, let me jack that thing. Like, let me put that on myself.
Yeah, it had traction.
I feel like he'd have been out here eating cereal.
But Vaughn was the type of dude who acted like the statute of limitations for a murder was like a week. Like if he didn't get caught right away, he figured he was good and he could just rap about it and shit, you know?
I'll say this about the O Block 6. I feel like the way Von was moving, I think he convinced all them other guys from O Block that murder was legal. Because they were like, bro, Von's got hell about it. Murder's a freebie, free for all.
Yeah, Chicago's different though. Like the first time I went out to Chicago, this is when Caprini Greens was still standing. I had a couple homies out there. I was like, yo, you got a corner store around here? It was like, yeah. Oh, let me call my sister. She gonna walk with you. His sister comes out the crib with the strap. And I'm like, okay, all right, cool. We take the walk. We get down in the corner. We hit the strip. There's siren lights running all night long on the indicted corners for blocks. It looks like a war zone.
Wow.
You can't grow up in an environment like that and think that, oh, no, I'm just going to be a good kid. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
the whole environment is saying, and we're walking past gun stores, mind you. And it was just crazy for me. I was like, yeah, this wouldn't happen in New York. This is a money city. They're not going to let this shit get like this. But damn, that shit was nuts for me. Like, it was a crazy experience.
I feel like, you know, and I do say that in the documentary as far as like, I try and give some, maybe not credit, but just like, I try and have some sympathy for Von talking about what happened to his father, what he was growing up around. And I've talked about that a lot, even with the other stories about Chicago where I'm talking about, you know, crews like No Limit, we've got something on 600. Like, bro, they're really snipers on the roofs of these buildings. And the craziest thing is they knocked all those projects down to try and clean up the city. And then just all the gangs were just scattered everywhere and it made shit 1,000 times worse. And that's how we ended up with this new generation where it's just like, you're from across the street, like, you're 63rd, we're just going to war for 10 years until everyone's dead. And that's the most crazy thing. And I feel like a lot of these stories, it does make me sad, man. I'm reading about all this death. This ain't fun. This ain't a laugh to me. Like, it's real shit.
At first it was.
Nah.
I feel like the
never been a
earlier
joke.
videos,
But the
you
earlier
were
videos,
trolling these guys.
But
like,
I was never doing
you
the
guys are
Chicago
stupid.
thing. I was never doing the Chicago thing back then.
Right.
I was more doing like,
It's Hoffa, trapper turn smack rapper. Only smack rapper that you know is smack rapper.